Welcome to English Easy Hub. Join us as we ignite the flames of your English learning journey together.
Please subscribe to watch and embark on your English learning journey. Don't miss out on the exciting content. Alex, a dedicated English learner, seeks guidance from his professor on how to overcome the habit of translating from Chinese to English and instead think directly in English. Through a detailed conversation, the professor provides practical strategies for immersive learning, vocabulary expansion, confidence building, and rapid thinking. The dialogue highlights actionable techniques like contextual learning, shadowing, mental narration, and practicing under low-pressure environments. These insights aim to help Alex achieve fluency by developing an intuitive thought process in English.
Good morning, Professor. I've been trying to improve my English speaking skills, but I often find myself translating from Chinese to English in my head. How can I avoid this and start thinking directly in English?
Good morning, Alex. That's a common challenge for many language learners. Thinking in English requires rewiring your brain to bypass your native language. One effective method is to immerse yourself in English as much as possible. Listen to English podcasts, watch movies, and read books to build familiarity with how ideas are naturally expressed in English. Additionally, practice describing your thoughts or surroundings in English throughout the day. The more you expose yourself to the language, the quicker you'll develop the ability to think without translating.
That makes sense. But when I encounter new words or phrases, I automatically think of their Chinese equivalents. How can I break this habit?
When you come across new words, instead of translating, try associating them with images, feelings, or experiences. For example, if you learn the word sunset, picture a sunset in your mind rather than thinking of the Chinese word for it. Creating mental images builds stronger connections and helps you think in English. You could also try using synonyms and describing the word's characteristics in English if you're stuck. This further strengthens your recall and deepens your understanding.
That's an interesting idea. But sometimes I struggle with grammar when forming sentences. Should I consciously think about grammar rules, or is there another way to internalize them?
Excellent question. While it's helpful to understand grammar rules initially, the goal is to internalize patterns through exposure. Listen carefully to native speakers and notice how they form sentences. Practicing with conversation partners or using language learning apps can reinforce these patterns. Gradually, grammar will become instinctive. You can also shadow native speakers, mimicking their sentence structures and intonation. This natural repetition builds an unconscious understanding of grammar over time.
I see. What about vocabulary? I often feel like I lack the right words to express myself. How can I build a richer vocabulary naturally?
Contextual learning is key. Instead of memorizing isolated words, learn phrases and expressions in context. For instance, if you read a story about a camping trip, you'll encounter words like tent, campfire, and backpack. This method not only expands your vocabulary, but also improves your understanding of how words are used. Also, try incorporating new words into your conversations immediately. Using words in meaningful contexts cements them in your memory.
That sounds effective. But when I try to think in English, my thoughts often feel slow and fragmented. How can I speed up my thinking process?
Speed comes with practice. Engage in activities that force you to think quickly in English. Try timed writing exercises or participate in spontaneous conversations. Another technique is shadowing, where you listen to native speakers and repeat what they say immediately. This sharpens your thinking and pronunciation. Additionally, practice storytelling. Narrate a personal experience or describe a photo out loud. This pushes your brain to retrieve words faster.
Shadowing seems like a great exercise. I'll try that. But sometimes I feel nervous when speaking, especially in front of others. How can I gain confidence?
Confidence builds with familiarity. Start by practicing alone. Record yourself speaking and listen to identify areas for improvement. Then gradually move to small, low-pressure conversations. Joining language exchange groups or participating in online discussions can also provide supportive environments. Remember that mistakes are part of the learning process, and most people will appreciate your effort rather than judge your errors. Embracing imperfection is key to growing as a speaker.
That's reassuring. One more thing, sometimes I can't find the right words while speaking, so I hesitate. What should I do in those moments?
Instead of pausing awkwardly, use filler phrases like, "Let me think, that's a good question," or "How should I put this?" Native speakers do this too. It buys you time and keeps the conversation flowing naturally. You can also paraphrase using simpler words or provide examples to explain your meaning. It's more important to keep the conversation moving than to find the perfect word.
That's helpful. But I often worry about making mistakes. Should I focus on accuracy or fluency?
Both are important, but prioritize fluency in conversations. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. Native speakers will usually understand your meaning even if your grammar isn't perfect. Over time, your accuracy will improve through exposure and feedback. Aim for clear communication first. When you're comfortable, you can refine your grammar and pronunciation further.
I'll try to embrace mistakes more. But what if I'm stuck on translating specific cultural concepts that don't have direct English equivalents?
Great question. When translating isn't possible, describe the concept instead. For example, if you want to explain a traditional festival, talk about the customs, food, and activities associated with it. This not only enhances your English thinking, but also broadens your cultural communication skills. Don't hesitate to draw comparisons to similar concepts in English-speaking cultures to make your explanations relatable.
That makes a lot of sense. Is there a way to practice thinking in English during daily activities?
Absolutely. Narrate your day in English in your mind. Describe what you're doing, thinking, or feeling. You could say, "I'm making breakfast. The eggs are sizzling in the pan." This builds your inner dialogue and strengthens your thinking abilities. You can also visualize conversations you might have later, imagining how they would unfold in English. Mental practice like this significantly boosts fluency.
I love that idea. But I've noticed that sometimes I understand English conversations perfectly, but I struggle to respond quickly. Why is that?
Understanding and responding are two different skills. Listening comprehension is passive, while speaking is active. To bridge this gap, try speaking aloud more often. Read stories and summarize them in your own words. Role-play conversations with yourself to simulate real-life scenarios. Also, think aloud when problem-solving in English. It's excellent practice for forming thoughts spontaneously.
That's practical advice. Speaking of real-life scenarios, how can I prepare for conversations on unfamiliar topics?
Broaden your exposure to various subjects. Listen to podcasts, watch documentaries, or read articles on diverse topics. Familiarizing yourself with different fields will build your confidence and expand your vocabulary, making it easier to engage in conversation spontaneously. You can also create flashcards with topic-specific vocabulary and practice using those words and sentences.
I'll definitely do that. One last question, Professor. How will I know when I'm truly thinking in English?
You'll notice it when English thoughts come naturally without the mental translation. Your responses will become quicker and your expressions more nuanced. And perhaps you'll even dream in English. That's a sign your brain has embraced the language. Additionally, when you start catching subtleties in jokes, sarcasm, or cultural references, that's a strong indication of thinking in English.
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Professor. I feel much more confident and ready to practice these techniques.
You're very welcome, Alex. Keep practicing, stay patient, and enjoy the journey of thinking in English. I'm sure you'll make remarkable progress. Remember, language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Each small step brings you closer to fluency.
Thank you, Professor. I'll stay consistent and try all these methods. Maybe one day, I'll even think entirely in English without realizing it.
Exactly. That's the goal. Keep me updated on your progress. I'd love to hear about your milestones along the way. Stay curious and keep learning.
By the end of the conversation, Alex gains a deeper understanding of how to cultivate an English-thinking mindset. The professor emphasizes the importance of immersion, practice, and patience. Key takeaways include associating words with images rather than translations, narrating daily experiences in English, and embracing mistakes as learning opportunities. With consistent effort, Alex is encouraged to celebrate small milestones, recognizing that fluency is a gradual process. Equipped with these tools, he feels more confident and motivated to continue his journey toward thinking naturally in English.
Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share to keep the English learning journey alive.